Have you ever thought that your actions don't matter because someone else will do the right thing? Let's take a trip to a time of kings and kingdoms. Our story begins with a king, a man known for his wisdom and respected by all. He had a vision, a grand project that would require the collective effort of his kingdom. This project was no ordinary task. It involved filling a newly dug pond, not with water, but with milk. Yes, you heard it right, milk. And not just a glass or two, but a glass from each and every household in the kingdom. The king made his announcement and his subjects listened with anticipation. His words echoed through the kingdom, reaching the ears of every citizen. The order was clear. Each was to bring a glass of milk under the cover of the night and pour it into the pond. As night fell, one man with a cunning plan decided to take a different approach. In the cover of darkness, the man thought he could outsmart the king and his fellow citizens. As the night fell, he found himself wrestling with his conscience. He reasoned, what difference would my single glass of milk make in a pond that's supposed to be filled by the entire kingdom? He convinced himself that a glass of water would be indistinguishable amidst the anticipated sea of milk. Feeling somewhat justified by his logic, he decided to pour water into the pond instead of milk. He imagined the pond, gleaming white in the morning sun, his small act of deception hidden beneath the surface. His heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement as he embarked on his secretive mission. Under the cloak of night, he stealthily made his way to the pond, clutching a glass filled with water. The stillness of the night seemed to amplify his every move. He swiftly poured the water into the pond, the soft splash echoing in his ears. He glanced around, ensuring no one had noticed his deception. Satisfied, he quickly returned home, his deceptive act concealed under the night's veil. He lay in his bed, his heart still racing from the thrill of his little adventure. He felt a sense of satisfaction, confident that he had successfully tricked the king and his fellow citizens. As dawn breaks, the king prepares to visit the pond, unaware of what has transpired. As the morning sun shines on the pond, the king arrives, expecting to see a pond full of milk. He anticipates a shimmering reflection of the morning sun, a testament to the unity of his people. But what meets his eyes is far from what he had imagined. Instead of a creamy white sea, the king is taken aback to find a clear, transparent pond, filled with nothing but water. His heart sinks as the reality of the situation begins to dawn on him. His people, his loyal subjects, had not followed through on their promise. The king had hoped for a pond full of milk, a symbol of unity and shared responsibility. But what he found instead was a pond full of water, a stark and chilling reminder of the deceptive man's plan, a plan that everyone had seemingly adopted. Indeed, it became clear that each citizen had the same thought as the deceptive man. They all assumed others would contribute the milk, and they could get away with just adding water. It was a classic case of the "someone else will do it" syndrome, a mindset that led to the collective failure of their duty. What a shock it was, not a drop of milk in sight, only the reflection of their collective deceit. It was a sight that shook the king to his core, a sight he would never forget. The pond, filled with water instead of milk, served as a mirror, reflecting the consequence of their actions. The king stood before his people, his voice echoing across the silent crowd. Each of us, he began, made a choice to evade responsibility, to assume that our actions wouldn't matter, that someone else would shoulder the burden. But look at our pond. Is it filled with milk as we hoped? No, it is filled with water, reflecting our collective decision to shirk responsibility. He continued, every action we take or don't take has a ripple effect. If we all assume that someone else will do the right thing, then who will actually do it? We must remember that each of us plays a vital role in our community. Our choices matter. They shape our world. The pond, instead of being a symbol of unity and cooperation, became a stark reminder of the importance of individual responsibility and action.